Can you believe 13?
Hey, Stacey, I am
Hi.
Ragan McKinney. I'm a core coach. Also, I'm a realtor broker in the Cincinnati area, Ohio area. I'm really excited because when they said I had an opportunity to interview a top producer that started in the core and we've seen tremendous growth, you immediately were the first person that came to mind. So thank you for joining us on this Facebook Live.
You're welcome. It's probably kind of the most memorable because I was like, I am not doing a team.
Yep. Well, and what I love about Stacey is she fought hard against everything recommended, and then she finally surrendered to the process. And wow, girl, you are a powerhouse right now. You're crushing it.
Well, it's funny. Everybody talks about how bad 2024 was. And I was like, well, it's my second best year in the business. So
you crushed it.
It was good. It was good.
Good. Well, let's get started. So let's talk about what does it take to be a top producer. And it's not always just getting out and grinding and making the deals happen, negotiating listing contracts, but there's a lot of mindset and motivation. What kind of mind shifts have you had to make as you've gotten busier, and how do you apply that to your business being a top producer?
Well, I realized I can't do it all. So if I'm going to be successful and I'm going to give my clients the best experience, then I really have to let go of some of the reins and let go of some of the things that doesn't really matter. So, I don't necessarily have to be in the weeds with all the, the day-to-day paperwork and things like that, but I can delegate those things. And then it frees me up to have the times to build relationships and bring in the business.
So, and I know when we coach together, we always talked about, on my team, everybody has their own seat on the bus. And that's really a big factor in our success, is recognizing who's good at what, including myself. I'm not super detailed and organized. So you give those jobs to people who are, but I'm a master negotiator and I know how to make things happen. So that's where I stay in my lane when it comes. And what motivates you? Because we know real estate can be tough, and it has not been easy peasy like it was right out of COVID. We have had to work for our money. So what motivates you when things are just going sideways to keep pushing through?
I think when you really are a problem solver and you come across difficult situations, and in the end, you find a way to make the transaction work. Through negotiating with repairs, whatever the case may be, and your clients are truly, truly appreciative. To me, that's what keeps me going, because they are so thankful and they have such kind things to say. And, and sometimes it's more difficult. We kind of joke that, can't we just have like a normal transaction?
They don't exist anymore. I don't think they exist.
Yeah, I would say, I was a teacher before, so I never made a lot of money. And money is great, but money can't be the only thing that motivates you. But I think that my reputation and talking to people in the community and other realtors, of it being a positive experience, that's motivating to me. So
it is. And when you were just telling me that, I actually could feel what you were talking about, if that makes sense. When you are in a situation within a transaction, what you described, helping somebody get through a hurdle. And I tell clients all the time, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Right.
They would sell, they would buy. I'm going to make it the best experience possible. Our job's to give you 5-star white glove, is what we say. And when you achieve that, or sometimes you get even a better feeling when you've had a hurdle that you've been able to overcome. We do this every day, and we forget that our clients are doing this every 5 to 7 years. So we need to remind ourselves that we have to sometimes put ourselves in the emotion. So yeah, you get those in your stomach, that feeling, that gratitude. And that's when, I really
Nailed
want
it.
transaction. I nailed it. That's right. So let's talk about business strategies. Walk me through your daily routine. How do you structure? Do you time block? Daily routine.
I struggle with daily routine. Really, we do meet together unless there's something crazy that's happening or I'm having to work around somebody else's schedule that can't be changed. But we do do like a little team huddle. So I have an RP1 and an RP2. And so we talk about what's happening at 9 o'clock every day. And then everybody kind of has their tasks to do. And then, in the beginning, in the morning, I try to get my phone calls done so that I'm, reaching out to people, and then making my appointments in the afternoon, early evening, try not to go too late. But, I think one thing in real estate that is a constant is that you have to be flexible.
You definitely have to be flexible. And I think importantly, the team meetings, even if it doesn't happen at the same time every day, it has to happen at some point or some kind of recap of the day. Everybody has to be on the same page to give the client that experience that they're looking for. So what are some specific strategies or systems that you've implemented? Maybe you fought them a little bit in the beginning and then you had that aha moment and they're definitely working and contributing to making you that top producer.
I think the biggest thing is having the RP1 who is controlling my calendar, and we bought into the digital skylight calendar, which is like a life changer because it's right there, it's cueing us, and it's also allows me to put tasks on there for them. And when they're done, they can, click it off, and then I know it's done. So that has helped tremendously. But having an RP1 taking care of all of the paperwork, and sometimes it's more difficult than other times, and just not having to deal with that. And actually, it's okay. And I used to do all of those things, and it's very time consuming. But then, like right now, my RP1 Haley, she will send a welcome email with all of our information. And she's like, I'm here to assist Stacey with whatever, and, copy me on everything and use me as a resource. And anytime that I can introduce them face to face, we like to do that. But having her start that from the beginning, so everybody's kind of in on the transaction, it's not just me. That's been a game changer.
So what I'm hearing you say is setting the expectation from the beginning. If you go into a listing appointment, identifying who's on your team, what roles do they play. Essentially, we have to sell our team. People know they're getting us, but we don't want them to feel passed off. And I think that's really important to note is we do have to set the expectations. I have a team, they make me look really good. And each one of them has, their own roles and expectations, and making sure that when they do introduce them, it's always for face-to-face is amazing, but if not, definitely a phone call, and letting them feel a part of the transaction. It kind of goes back to the whole doctor nurse. If you and I, if we're sick, we're not going to call and the doctor's not going to answer his phone, right? We're going to have to talk to the receptionist or the admin. And even then she's going to book our appointment. And then when we get to the doctor's office, we're not going to be seeing the nurse that's checking us in. She's going to check our blood pressure, get our weight. And at that point, they're going to put us into a room. And then we're going to get the doctor who's going to look and see, okay, what's wrong with us? Why are we sick? Did I break my leg, et cetera. So that's kind of where we take the approach here in our business. Are you operating the same way where everybody has the same structure of, incoming calls? This is who takes them. This is who handles this part of the transaction, et cetera.
Right. One of the things that I learned from you, because I brought my son on as a showing assistant, and to me, when I would be out showing houses, it was like, you're getting to know them and you're interacting, and that to me, I'm like, how can you not do that? And so we have really implemented, and it depends on who it is, but like last week, we had a pretty high profile client that came into town and wanted to look at houses. I could not spend all afternoon. So we all met at the first house, walked in, talked through everything. We went over the buyer broker agreement and got all of that signed. And then I said, listen, I'm going to let you go with Brady, and, he can open doors. He can be your tour guide for the day. And I said, but I want you to call me after the third house and let's talk about it. And then let's talk at the end of the day and come up with a strategy for tomorrow. And that has been a game changer, because I cannot manage, 13 listings and, 7 that are under contract,
Right.
and be present with my client. So,
and to be fully present. And this is something we had talked about when we were coaching was, I feel like I'm neglecting my clients. Well, really, you're neglecting them when you're in their presence doing a job that you can't fully commit to. I know when, I was working with buyers, you would go into a showing to be fully present. You can't be on your Apple Watch. You can't be on your phone. So you come out, you have 87 text messages and 40 voicemails and 100 emails. So it's overwhelming. And being able to divert all of those where they need to go into the office so you can, when you come out of an appointment, you can handle them timely. Otherwise, you can't handle all of that. And if you set the expectation at the beginning, I've not had one client push back. The only pushback we get is when I don't set the expectation of what the transaction is going to look like.
right.
Okay, we're running out of time, so I want to make sure I get some good things. Pressure. Real estate is stressful. How do you manage pressure, especially during peak season? Do you hide under the desk and cry?
No, I don't. I actually started playing the piano.
Okay.
So I decided, I do Pilates, which is great. But I started playing piano, and I'm practicing, and I literally go, and I feel like, they're like 5-10 minutes a day, and I get lost in it. And it's been a huge stress reliever for me.
Yeah, because you can't be on your phone and play the piano.
Yes,
right?
yes, it's fantastic. So I think we have to figure out how to get off the hamster wheel, and create boundaries. And I'm saying that like I'm talking to myself, because there are some days that you just don't, you can't for whatever, but you've got to be aware of it. And I am aware of it. And I'm trying to be, really to have those boundaries, because I don't want to burn out. And I do really enjoy what I'm doing.
When you're reflecting on that, I think you hit it there. It's progress over perfection. We're always chasing the end result. And if you do get on the hamster wheel, recognizing, hey, I'm on this wheel, I need to get off of it, I'm going to go play the piano. That is learning. That is progress. Right. That's a part of the journey. So I think too many times we get hung up on, man, I screwed up, it's too late. Every day, every second, every minute is an opportunity to restart. So when you get in there, just jump off and restart. Right. Okay, last thing, run us through really quick. What does your team look like, and who do you rely on for what? So give us an idea. You were, just so everyone knows, Stacey was, I am not going to have a team. So tell me about your team, Stacey.
Well, so I have an RP1 and RP2. So RP1, she does all my TC. She's like an executive assistant. She keeps my calendar. And what else does she do? She just kind of keeps me straight all the way around. My RP2 is a showing assistant, so he can unlock doors. He can, he also puts up signs and lock boxes when we need to, which is kind of nice. But showing assistant, and then social media. And then he actually does the input into the MLS. So when we gather all the stuff, when I gather the things from the listing, he puts that into the MLS.
Okay.
And I like to take him with me on the listing appointment, because he can put his eyes on everything. And it gives me an opportunity to introduce him to the seller.
And would you say your business has grown since implementing the team?
It has grown. 2024, yes. When compared to like everybody else, definitely it has grown. But it also has freed up more time for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm not working, like sitting in front of the TV with my laptop, putting in the MLS and, sending out forms and doing things like that. And we've been able to do more for our clients. So we plan more events. We keep in contact with them, a little bit more, a little bit easier, because I have help with those things.
And it's more genuine because you're not feeling strapped. It's not feeling like a box you have to check when you reach out and communicate with the clients. If you're calling a past client, if you're calling a VIP client, we actually can be fully in tune and have a good conversation, not just checking a box to say that we've done it. And that's the biggest thing that I've also seen is, I always joke, Would I even be able to find out where to write a contract or to get MLS data? That's a joke. I'm overstating that. But when you figure out who's really good at what and they're in those seats, it's amazing. Like you had a great 2024. I had a great 2024, and I 100% can say I would not have this business if I had not learned these systems from the core.
Right.
So
right.
I think we're out of time. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day, because I know 2 years ago you wouldn't have time because you'd be running buyers. So I'm glad you decided to have a team, and I really appreciate you, Stacey. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ragan, for what you've done for my business.
Well, I wanted to tell you too, before we get off here, it is site visit tomorrow, and we are going back to Ruby's. So when they order the Wagyu, I will be thinking of you.
Listen, it came up on my memory like today or yesterday, and I'm like, I got to take a picture of my dinner tonight.
I love that. Yeah, tomorrow night, and we're going back to Ruby's. Last site visit, we went somewhere else. So I will let you know who gets the Wagyu.
Absolutely.
Talk to you later.
Thanks, Ragan.
Bye.
Bye.